Uh, so I'm Rahul. I'm working at NetBank. I'm learning agility for last 7 years. I've got 3 passions in my life other than my family. One is I love music. I'm learning Indian classical music as well. And second of my passion is sports. And third of my passion is why I'm here, learning agility. I love to interact with people and I love to learn and share with them. So, now where is the okay, I've copied it. Okay. So these days, sorry again, I'm back. So these days, whenever we speak about okay, what is agile? There's always a question about that. Okay, is Scrum is agile, Kanban, XP, or Safe, or BDD, FDD, or Nexus, or so there are various methodologies. And people say that no, I mean we are agile because we are doing Scrum, or we are agile because we are doing Kanban. But I think agility is deeper than any of those methodologies. Okay, so okay, thanks. Since I think they are still trying. If you can give that laptop as well, let's try. Can someone tell me or answer what does software developer means? Anyone? Who? Sorry?
Someone who develops software which is coding.
Which is?
Coding.
Okay. And? Anything else other than coding?
They should design, code, and test what they're doing.
Yeah. So wiki definition of software developer says any person who is involved in different phases of development of software, whether it's design or UX or programming, testing, anything related to development of the software is called as software developer. But a common myth all around the globe is that people easily replace term software programmer from term software developer. Software developer is subset of software programmer is subset of software developer, and under development it comes programming, testing, design, everything comes under development. And that is why there is a concept, even like in Scrum when they came up with the concept of development team. That was the reason it was called as a development team, because all the aspects work together to develop a software. So I think wiki definition you all can check, can't show. So I'll take you to this story is around 5 to 7 years back when I was when I got introduced into an agile team. Before that, around 5 years I worked in waterfall way, and I thought that yeah, it's a nice way. And then when I got introduced to an agile team in 2011 at Investec, so I'll take you to the journey, through the journey. I mean, how I felt after 5 years of my life spending in waterfall environment, and how it changed my life when I got introduced to an agile team. So initially, when so I was a software programmer initially for 2.5 years, and then I came to know that no, I'm more destructive than constructive. So rather, I should move into testing. So I love when something doesn't work. So yeah. Okay. Okay. The room. So do we have to change the room?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So let's decide as a team. Do we want to stay here without presentation, or do we all want to shift to the another room where it's getting working? Okay. Okay. Leave it. Yeah. Team decides. Okay. So initially when I used to do testing, so these business requirement specification documents, I think we still hear these kind of documents, unfortunately. So and impact analysis documents. So these documents were a kind of Bible with small b for me, and we used to do testing through those. So whatever is written, we have to test. That's it. Then we used to follow DMLC, defect management lifecycle model, quite rigorously. That okay, I mean I'll if I find a defect, I'll assign to on HPQC. Before it was Mercury, I remember, and you will send that defect to someone, a programmer, then he will fix it, he will again change it. So we were in that mode in changing the life cycle of that defect. Then what happened when I got introduced to an agile team, it was told to me that I'm no more part of a testing team, I'm part of a development team. So I'm not a fish in a small tank, I'm now a fish of a bigger tank with a lot of more fishes. And then I learned that what were the different expectations from me in that agile team. One was that test cases are not important, scenarios are important, business cases are important, that what I need to test, what benefits user, I need to test that, rather than just going to the test cases or writing the test cases, thousands of. So one was that scenario identification and test accordingly. So that was one expectation from me. Another was I should be open to learn new ways of verification and validations. I remember when there was a requirement of doing automation, and I was asked that okay, I mean can you use Selenium, and I was like but I don't know. And then one of the programmers of our team, he said that okay, you don't know, but learn it. I said I need a training. Okay, Google it. So at that time I was like, I mean, Google it, I need some formal training so that I can learn it and I'll be able to do it. But he said that why you can't Google it, try. And eventually I learned everything from Google, and I came to know that I mean Google tells everything. So I didn't need any formal training to do anything, everything is available on Google. So we should be open to learn new ways, whatever comes into our life. We should be able to adapt new things. Then third thing was that I should be able to help other team members in keeping each other open and honest, because that was a kind of environment we were creating. So it was an expectation from everyone, not just from Scrum Master. Then you need to keep each other open and honest. So what I have learned in last few years is doing Scrum or doing any methodologies is not important. Important is to know Agile values and principles, and then we should not deviate from that. So because what happens is, in doing these different methodologies, we forget about values and principles somewhere behind the doors, and then we, oh yeah, we are going safe, and I mean we are Agile, but we forget that, I mean, okay, we are doing safe, we are using Jira, but we are screwing our communication. We are doing all of our communication on Jira, and where are the interactions? So we go too much into tools and forget about those principles. So that's my journey from a tester to an Agile team member. So initially I was always hired for my technical competency only. So for my 5 years, whenever I was interviewed for any of the teams, I was interviewed for my, okay, I mean technically this person sounds good, let's take him. First time I came to know that I was hired for my values or for my principles that I could bring in the team, and that I came to know only later, but not my technical competencies. When I was working in waterfall environment, I didn't have much privilege to interact with business users. After joining that team, for every single functionality we delivered, I got an opportunity to interact with business users. That, okay, I mean, this is what we are delivering. And initially we started with like sprint reviews, where we used to demo, and then slowly we started, okay, this functionality is ready, I mean like on the 4th day, let's demo it. On the 9th day, let's demo it. So I mean, we got some maturity with over the period. So initially BRS, impact analysis documents, and those were like a kind of Bible with a small b for us. Later, in that team, prioritized product backlog became a Bible for us, and acceptance criteria became driver for us to create test scenarios. So with the product backlog, I believe that prioritized product backlog, so prioritization is most important thing, because that's where a lot of organization struggles. Even where I am working right now, we are struggling because there is no priority. Everything is priority number 1. So, and I think the bigger the organization, bigger the problems. So, and everyone wants that, no, we are committing to 50 things, but we are not even doing 10 things. So, and prioritization is, I think, one of the important aspect in Kanban as well. So initially I was never involved in business analysis or requirement gathering in waterfall environment. But then when I joined that team, I got involved in all the backlog refinement sessions or backlog grooming sessions, where we refined all the requirements together. So which was a big change for me, and I was like, wow, I mean, why I didn't do this earlier. Back then I used to get feedback on my work, I think once or twice a year during my appraisals, and then when I moved to this team, I was getting like constructive feedback how I can improve myself every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So that was a big change for me, and which resulted into continuous early improvements. I was very less aware of business value what I was giving when I was working in waterfall environment. Work was coming, we were doing, done. Work was coming, we are doing, done. But we were not aware of who are the users, I mean what business value it gives to other people. I mean we were not aware of. But then later from that team I realized that now I knew that why we were developing something, for whom, and how our business was getting value out of it. So that was a big thing for me. And in waterfall environment, the biggest thing which I realized was blame game. It was part of our life, that okay, when everything is going smooth, then it was like yeah, I did it, and then as soon as the problem hits, then it's you. So but then in that team I learned that immediate resolution of any problem is more important than blame game, because that blame game doesn't help anyone, and especially the customer. So immediate concentration was to resolve the problem, and for root cause analysis we had our retrospectives to know what could be improved as a team. In waterfall environment I was treated as a gatekeeper of the software, and as soon as there was a problem in UAT or live, then okay, where is Rahul or his peeps. But then in that team we did mistakes. It's not like everything was perfect, we did a lot of mistakes, but we learned and improved as a team. In waterfall environment I had less visibility of the overall roadmap. I didn't know what is coming after 2 months or 3 months. In that team, that agile team, I had knowledge of past, what happened. Even when I joined I came to know that okay, in last 3 months what we have released, and then I knew that what we are doing in the present, and what is coming in future. So we actually had after few months we actually came to that maturity that we had like okay, what is planned for next 3 months, although it used to get changed, priority used to get changed, but at least we had a view that okay, what is coming. So initially I used to be worried about my title, that okay, I mean for 2 years now I was junior test engineer, now I should become senior test engineer, or when will I become a test lead. So I used to be worried about that in my previous life before Agile. And then because of the structure of our team, that Scrum team, everyone was team member. So even we had people who were like AS400 developers, and he had around 40 years of experience, and he was also a team member, and I had at that time around 6 years of experience. I was also a team member, so which was amazing to work with because everyone was at the same level. And my title was just for the HR purposes. In waterfall environment, my work was judged by the number of defects I found, but in that team my work was judged by the amount of defect I prevented with the help of programmers. So that was a key learning for me, because initially, oh yeah, I mean I found 50 defects, I'm a top tester, but then it got changed to that no, I mean so we prevented defects. So that was the concentration. And my work was judged by my scenario identification skills, communication, pressure handling, team spirit, and my passion for delivering a quality product, not just the number of defects. Initially I used to be worried about that, okay, I mean how can I get appreciations from other people. But then later when I joined this team, when we went into retrospectives and we used to have a section where we used to appreciate each other, then I came to know that it's not about getting appreciations, it's about how you can appreciate other people. So that's how my mindset got changed. there's a message for me. I was a testing resource previously. I get very crossed when people use this term, resource. I have two reasons why people are not resources. One reason I think, and both of the reasons I learned from different people. One reason why people are not resources is because resources get deteriorated, and over the period, I mean, and you can't grow a resource, but you can grow people. Resources don't learn, people do learn. Second thing is, resources, like take a brick. You can, if a brick is broken, you can take out that brick and you can put another brick with the same dimensions. But people have emotions, which makes them different than a normal resource. So they are not resource. So I mean, and that's why my feelings got strong about this terminology, that no, I mean, and when we say resource, we treat them as a resource. Okay, 20% that project, 30% that project, 20% that project. There is no focus, and then people are all over the show, and by nature, as a human being, we are not multitasking. We just have one brain and we can do just one thing at one time. If we have to give a good quality, we might do two things with like worst quality. And then I became an important team player. Initially, in waterfall environment, I just wanted to learn. That team taught me how to unlearn things. Because learning is good, learning is easy, unlearning is difficult. So if we have bad habits, how we can unlearn that, that is even more difficult than learning something. Because we are in our comfort zone, that no, I mean, I know it, it works, but I don't want to unlearn. And I think that this unlearning becomes a biggest hurdle when we go into agile movements in any organization, because people don't want to unlearn things. I'm doing it for last 30 years, why should I unlearn it? It was all about I, me and myself in waterfall environment, because everyone was working for themselves. So how I can write on emails that I did it, I was the person behind it. When there is a problem, I can make sure that I am not there in that email. Okay. That team taught me that it's all about we. So in that team, we were not allowed to use the term I. So if I have done testing, some testing, I'm sending something to business, we are done with testing. And so we were not allowed to use word I, which was amazing. So over the period, I mean, I learned something, and I have created a personal behavioral model for myself. It works for me. Can I get you a bit closer so that I can show you? Sorry for that. So it's basically, I call it as a COTI, which is client, organization, team and yourself. Okay. Whenever I take any decision or whenever I react to anything, okay, first thing that if I am taking any decision, will it benefit client or not, client or customer or end user? Okay. Then I see, okay, if it is, I mean, if client is not area of concern, then will it benefit organization or not? Then I think about, will it benefit my team or not? Okay. And then I feel, okay, will it benefit myself or not? The problem is, whenever we take any decisions, whenever we are in, for example, we had an argument with someone in our team, what we do is we apply this model in the reverse order. So what we do, we think about ourselves. Then later we think about our team. If there's something left, we think about our organization, and we never think about our client. So whenever I apply it in taking any decisions, if I am in problem, if I had an argument with someone, I apply this model and then I rethink that, okay, I might be right or wrong in that discussion, but it's fine. Is it helping or not? Because a lot many times we face there are two people in the team, they're not talking to each other for some reason. And why? Because what we think about, it's only this. And then if we think about client first, then we will, okay, let's chat. Okay, tell me your idea, I'll tell you my idea, and let's see what is benefiting our client. So, and it works for me, so you can use it. I'll send it. It's nothing. It's very small thing, but helpful. And I call it COTI because it starts with client. I think an environment is worth making if it manages risk properly, because when we used to use our physical boards, now it's an era of digital boards. We used to talk, we had a pride that, okay, now we are moving a sticky. Everything was on our board, even our leave plans were on board, our training plans were on board, everything was on board. So, I mean, the visibility of everything was so easy that if anyone comes to our area, we're like, okay, I mean, is someone on leave? Okay, no one is on leave. So visibility is important, and that's why, for example, if we are working on Jira or any digital board, if it is not visible, then it becomes a problem, because we don't interact over digital boards. So that is my problem. If we have it displayed in our area, perfect, and there are boards like that. So interaction, individual and interactions is still one of the biggest value. We forget it while going into all the digitization of everything. And that is the reason I still love physical boards. An environment is worth making it if it creates an environment of team. Because one of the organizations where I worked, there's a concept of top achiever award. Okay. What happens is, and the prize is like, it's real big. So you get a chance to go to a Euro trip. You get 200,000 ZAR to spend. So it's big thing. So now to get that, if that is a top achiever award, and if we are 20 people in a team, to get that, what I need to make sure that I remain here and other people remain here. Okay. So that creates a culture of competition. And who is at the losing end? It's ultimately the organization and everyone, because if organization is getting impacted by that, then everyone is getting impacted. Now if we are creating a culture of of collaboration, and that's what I mean, we try to do that. Okay, I mean, you have 200,000 rands, give it to us, we'll distribute it amongst team. Don't give it to one person, because then next year I want to get it, I will make sure that I remain here. And how it drives different behavior, that okay, I won't help, I know this, I won't help, I will only help when someone like Exco or someone will come into picture, and that okay, who can help? Okay, I'm the hero, I'll help. And then ultimately, I mean, nobody loses, it's just the organization, and then ultimately it impacts everyone. So we are trying to get rid of it, and if it creates an environment of happiness, because I have seen, I've experienced it. Our product owner was, I mean, we were able to keep him happy for years, and the team was happy, and that team is still, I mean, I left that team around 2.5, 3 years back. That team is still working in the same mode, and around 15 to 20 people are there in that team, and they're still using physical boards, and everyone is happy, still happy. So I think that environment, that kind of environment is good to create. Thanks for being here, and finally we made it. So I think time is the most precious thing which we can give to anyone. So thanks to all of you to give me your time. I have my email address and phone number, so if you want to chat, I mean, I'm here for the rest of the conference, I think 1 or 2 more hours, and so you can contact me anytime. I'm part of SAKSA as well, Scrum User Group of South Africa as well. So I mean, any time you want to share anything, you want to learn anything, I'm happy. I love to interact. Thank you.